Hey guys, this is a requested video for someone who just moved into her home and then she wanted a tufted headboard and sent this picture to me. And then she wanted the sides to look a little bit flat with something decorative at the corners. And she also wanted it before Christmas, so I decided to just make it because Christmas is fast approaching. So I started this project with wood that I've had at home for a while. And this is going to be for a queen-sized bed. This is a leftover piece of 2 inches foam that I've had for a while. I'm going to keep that aside. And then I took trifle boards and used pieces and added them together using tape so that I can extend the height of the headboard that I want to use because the wood is not high enough. So I'm using the boards to extend it just a bit. I glue the cardboard to the wood. And then now I'm going to be gluing on the foam that I have on top of the cardboard that has been attached to the wood. I'm going to cut off the excess that's here. And I'm gluing these 2 pieces together with a hot glue gun. I'm going to need more foam to cover up the remaining parts for the headboard. And then I got to Walmart and they didn't have 2 inches foam. What they had at that time was 1 inch foam, so I had to get 2 of it so that it would work together with the 2 inches foam that I already have. After I was done gluing everything together, I took a saw and then I lightly was cutting off the excess. And when I was done, I turned it over and you can see the 2 different foams, but that's okay because it's not going to be visible when the project is finished. I then made 6 points on 5 horizontal lines with 8 inches apart, giving me squares. And I made extra points in between each of the squares. Now these form diamond shapes with a slanting pattern. To create deep holes, I'll be using metal pipes. Now this metal pipe is really small and I didn't really like it because it was small. I actually had a bigger one, something with a larger diameter, but it was PVC pipe. It wasn't metal. And you need the metal because the metal would give you actual holes because of the sharp edges. And now the next thing you need to do is place it on top of the point with very minimal pressure and rotate the pipe to make the cut at the surface and then add a lot of pressure till you get to the bottom. You'll be able to take out the foam that you've cut out and see just how deep it is. And a neat deep hole gives a better tufting effect. This was so much easier than using scissors because it took me 10 seconds to make each hole. I made a hole in all of the points, and after that I took a 1/2 inch batting that was a leftover from another project and placed it on top of it and just used my fingers to make holes in them. The work of the batting is to make sure that you have smooth surfaces and to make sure that the material stays in place. After doing this, I glued on the batting to the foam. And guys, the batting is supposed to be glued on the foam before making the hole, so that's an error on my part. This is a white vinyl material that I got from Walmart that has a texture that's close to leather, and it's super affordable. It's $5 for a yard, and I got 3 yards. I placed it on top and used my fingers to determine where the hole is going to be to make it easy for me. And then I'm going to be using washers and nails. These are screw nails. The screw nails work perfectly with the washers because the washers helps it from not coming out after it's been screwed into the material. It is important to make a hole first with the screw nail before you begin to exert pressure while putting it in. I'm doing this to avoid the material from twisting along with the nail. The more holes you make, the beauty begins to come out. And as you can see, I'm using my hands to determine where the hole is before I put in the screw nails. The tufts are going to look deep because of the thickness of the foam and the depth of the hole. But if you want your tuft to be more deeper, you're going to use a much thicker foam. After I was done, I started folding the sides. And then all I did for the top part was to overlap one material over the other and then tightly pull it to the back and then secure it with staple gun. Like I said before, this is for the top part and I wanted lines to be there. And I just stapled the other sides at random and turned it to the back and then secured it with more pins. I would love to extend the headboard because the wood I'm using is not long enough, so I got canvas panels from Walmart and then cut them to the size that I would need for the edges. And then all I'm doing here is placing them to be flushed with the wood and then making sure that they're flat and then securing them with staple pins. This is just to keep it in place for now. After that, I'm going to go around with craft sticks. I would glue the craft sticks in such a way that it's going to hold the canvas panels together with the wood. And like I said before, I did not have a large board. That was going to make me have my tufted design in the middle with extra space at the sides. So you can skip the step altogether if you have a wider board. I turned it over and then I pushed down all of the pins. I used crystal buttons that I got from Walmart and used the hot glue gun to glue it on top of each of the nail heads that I have in each of the tufts. Now, because the request was made for something decorative at the corners, I'm going to be using a decorative mirror decal that I used for another project. The link is going to be in the description box below. I used it, but not the same design though, arranged it differently at the corners like this. And then I'm going to be using 1-inch mirrors at the middle here, and another one between these two here. To cover up the pins and to add some design by the side, I'm going to be using bling wrap. Because of the nature of the design of the tufts, it's going to be hard to get a straight line, so I'll be using a ruler as my guide. And then I use the hot glue gun to attach the bling wrap to the canvas panels. You can see the space here, and that's because of the material that was pushed at the back. But then I used a ruler to make sure that I have an accurate straight line. For this part here, I'm using a pair of scissors to carve out the shape to flow the rest of the design. I got a foam board and divided it into two and glued it at the back because of the nails that were extending on the wood. This is because I used thin wood instead of a thick one because that's what I had at home and I wasn't ready to buy another wood. I'm using command strips that can take up to 16 pounds of weight. It's not that heavy, but I decided to just use that one anyway to mount it on the wall. And here's the finished look. I love the way the design at the top looks like. And I like to say that I am not a professional in any way. This is just a DIY project that I'm doing at home. And so to help out someone also who wanted a tufted white headboard with decorative edges. And hey, you can also put Christmas lights around it. I know she wanted this project before Christmas, so this is a good way to add lighting to the headboard and give it a more glamorous look for the holiday season. And if you're not into tufted headboards, I have some other headboard designs that I've made, and the link for all of the headboards will be in the description box below. I love the way this white tufted headboard turned out, and I also love the look of the decorative edges. This is a pretty high headboard, and I like to recommend to the lady that wanted making this before Christmas too. Please use a thicker wood to avoid all the other problems that I ran through using a thin one. Let me know what you guys think about this headboard in the comment section below, and remember to like and share this video. I wish you all a Merry Christmas, guys, and thank you so much for watching. I have other videos linked in the description box below to check them out, and don't forget to click on the subscribe button.